Hi, everybody. So today's installation of the Sergeant at Arms is going to basically be about President Donald John Trump and former FBI Director James Comey. So James Comey finally published his book. His book is out, his tell-all book. He did an interview with George Stephanopoulos on 2020 where he told a little bit about what was in his book and more about his experiences with President Trump. And obviously there are a number of curious things about that whole prospect. So the first thing that I think I want to kind of point out is James Comey made a point of saying that his wife and 4 daughters were very displeased with him because they were Hillary Clinton supporters. And so I found that quite interesting because I think it sheds a little bit of light on him and the whole political angle of he was doing that to support the Republican cause, or because he is a Republican, or because he thought if Donald Trump won, he wanted to secure his position. I feel like none of that really applies. And I feel like living in a household full of people who are Hillary supporters and Hillary, and these are people who are close to you personally, I feel like that's a little bit of pressure. So I believe him when he says, no, the decisions that I made were non-political. I believe that. I have friends myself, friends and colleagues who despise him for what they feel he did to Hillary Clinton, but I stand by, I don't think that would have changed anything. I think we were in a place where the people who were voting for Donald Trump were a little more mobilized. And the people who were voting for Hillary Clinton, not so much. And I feel like there are some strategies that her campaign did not take advantage of. And I stand by that. I don't feel like the outcome would have been any different. Do I feel like he should not have done that? No, I don't think he should have done that. I think he should just left it alone, because the fact is, at the end of the day, there was nothing to come of it. Nothing came of it, and it should have stayed that way. And we should have just let the election play itself out naturally, without any roadblocks or any speculation about something that wasn't there. Regardless, there are still people who feel like that's what Hillary Clinton feels like that's what cost her the presidency. I don't know that I agree with that, but to each his own. The other thing that I find curious about what James Comey said was he basically, and I'm not going to say basically, he point blank said Donald Trump is not fit to be president. And he went on to explain and it wasn't because he's not intellectually prepared to be president. He's got the education. He said that he's an educated man, so that wasn't an issue either. He said it was his morals. He said he is morally unfit to be president of the United States. I'm going to go ahead and agree with that. And I feel like most people who have had experience with Donald Trump would agree with that as well. And that is the sad state of affairs that we have to accept as voters in the United States of America, and that is that we have a president who is morally unfit. The fabrications, the secrecy, more than one person has said he will point blank lie and not care that he has lied. And then a week later will change his story and say he didn't lie. So I tend to agree with that. I think this is a sad state of affairs that there are people who were that close to him at that high level with that much credibility who can say that with a surety. That's really sad. So then the last point that I want to make is one that I've made a number of times before, and that is, let's look at the word politician. Let's look at the position of politician. I have said over and over and over again, we need politicians running our government. Politician is not a bad word. Politician is a job. It's a career, just like doctor and lawyer and dentist. We have bad doctors. I've seen a couple in the last couple of months. We have bad dentists. We have bad lawyers. We have bad teachers. Every profession has bad people in it. So the politicians shouldn't be any different. The catch in our case is, because politicians are public people, we see all of their mistakes. Nothing wrong with making mistakes. It's just what kind of mistakes you're making. And unfortunately, we have politicians that just make the most immoral mistakes. Um, and we can't allow that office to be damned because of a few people who are not fit. Period. So I think a good thing that's happening right now is we've got Republican congresspersons, senators, representatives resigning, retiring in droves. That's a good thing, because one of the other things I said is the problem with draining the swamp is it would take too long and it's just too much of a process. It would take too much to just kind of start over again. It looks like we're headed in the direction where we might get halfway to starting over again, because if we get rid of enough of the current politicians we have who have lost sight of what they're there for, then we might actually get some people in there who have some fresh ideas and fresh enthusiasm for serving the American people. That's a good thing. I'm happy about that. So, Paul Ryan says he's retiring to go spend more time with his family. Great. That's a good plan. Do I think he has other plans down the road? Absolutely. Do I think a lot of these Republicans want to avoid having to support Donald Trump in 3 years, 2.5 years? Yes. Do I think some of those people might mount an effort to put somebody in place to challenge Donald Trump? Absolutely. So all of those are good things as far as I'm concerned, because I feel like the Republican Party really did fail themselves by allowing Donald Trump to become president and allowing that process to play out the way it did. I think they're all kind of licking their wounds and saying, maybe we shouldn't have done this. So, having said that, we'll see what happens in 2.5 years. In fact, we'll see what happens in about 6 months for the midterms. That's going to be a little bit of a telling situation as well, but it seems as though the writing is on the wall. Democrats are going to have their season, and then we'll see what happens after that, because at that point it'll be the playing field might be a little more even, and going into the general election, this is going to be a good one. I can't wait to see what happens this next general election. It's going to be, yeah, we're going to have a good time with this one. So, having said that, I will close this installation of the Sergeant at Arms. Remember, I am still tweeting SGTATARMSUSA, and I will see you on Twitter. Bye.